hearing from the director himself, and I can't wait to hear what he has to say about his experiences on his debut film. Opo, ito yung unang directorial job niya, pero talaga namang bonggang-bongga po ang The Fabulous Filipino Brothers. He has been in the creative industry for more than 30 years. Yes, in the entertainment industry, and has won multiple awards ever since. He is a Hollywood actor, a voice actor, producer, and now a director. It is an honor to get to meet you and talk to you this afternoon. Let us all put our hands together for director Dante Basco.
Hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? Magandang hapon. I'm here in Los Angeles at night, but it's great to join you guys in the Philippines. I'm so excited for the film to come out, my directorial debut. Get to share my first film that I got to write and direct with my brothers and starring my brothers, the Fabulous Filipino Brothers. So I'm just excited that people are finally getting to see it. And I can't wait to talk more about the project. This particular film is based on intimate kind of like stories from me and my family and our lives. It's a totally fictional film, but it was really inspired by my family and inspired by our community, the Fil-Am community, and being able to represent the places we're from, like Manila, like Pittsburgh, California, the hometown I'm from, and then also the people we're from, my parents and all the Fil-Am community that I grew up in the Bay Area. It's really a special film to me, and I can't wait for everyone else out there in the Philippines to see it, and then everyone worldwide to see it also.
Thank you so much, Dante, for commemorating another milestone in your career with us. But pwede ka na ba naming tawaging Direct Dante? Because in the Philippines, we call our directors Direct.
Yes.
Direct Dante ka na ngayon. Hindi na lang di ba? Star. You're also, of course, the head of this project. And a little bit later on, we will be asking you our questions, but we also like to acknowledge the presence of the head of content distribution of Cignal Entertainment, Sir Jeffrey Remigio, who will be joining Miss Bella. You can also ask him your questions as well. Hi, Sir Jeff, you're here.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi to all our press guests today.
Ayan. Ayan po si Sir Jeffrey, mamaya-maya pwede nyo rin po siyang tanungin. But before anything else, eto na, tanungin na natin about the Fabulous Filipino Brothers, si Dante, and how it came to be and how it's so relevant in today's day and age, this story. So Dante, what motivated you or inspired you to really start this story and tell it to the world?
Well, I've been an actor for over 35 years now in Hollywood, and over the last 10 years, I started producing films exclusively Asian American films or Asian media. In the last, I'd say, 3-4 years, I started doing stuff and going back into Asia, going back to our roots and actually trying to create a new kind of filmmaking, hybrid filmmaking, something I like to think of as borderless Asian filmmaking, trying to take notable names and faces in front of and behind the camera and connecting them with all the great stars on the other side of the world, in front of and behind the camera. And so this is my second partnership with Cignal. The first one we did, I produced a film directed by Andrea Walter called Empty by Design, an award-winning film that we produced as one of these kind of hybrid films. And now I got a chance to do a film that I got to direct, and I got to pitch it to Cignal during a pitch meeting. I told him it's a film I wanted to do, and I kind of gave him the quick pitch on this story about these four brothers, this 4 vignettes, somewhat of a linear story told out of order, all surrounding a Filipino wedding and a Filipino family. And instantly, I think they kind of caught the energy of I was kind of put forth out there, and also I really have to thank Cignal for supporting me and taking a milestone step in my career to direct for the first time and partnering up with me. That I'm forever grateful for Cignal for that. So I'm excited to see where it goes. It got to premiere at one of the biggest film festivals in the world, South by Southwest Film Festival, this last year.
Wow. And
now it's coming out in the Philippines. So it's exciting. It's exciting times.
Okay, so Dante, let's talk about the casting here. You have your brothers with you on the headline. And was it challenging, or was it the perfect mix to get your brothers, portray your brothers on screen?
It's very perfect. it's a perfect thing. I got to co-write the first draft with my brother Darian, and then my brother Dioniso came in, did some comedy rewrites, and my sister came in actually to help with a lot of rewrites, especially for the women voices to strengthen the women characters in the thing, and it became a really family affair. We created these roles for my brothers. The brothers in the film, they're all fictional, but they are all named after my father and his brothers, the original Basco brothers. And so there's a lot of just homage I pay to the past and our family. So they are perfect. The unique thing about this particular project for me is my leading men that starred in this film, my brothers, happen to be the people that I'm most closest to in the world as artists. We grew up together in this industry. We studied together for over 20 years as actors in acting classes and acting schools. And so unlike any director, I would say, of any other cast members he's ever cast before, I've actually seen every single one of these guys' performances throughout their whole career, from breakdancing in the streets of San Francisco to acting school to high school plays to every small role they played in television film to every lead role they played in every television film. I've been there as a brother, as a fan, we've been together the whole time. So being able to direct them in this movie, it feels like everything we've ever done in our lives collectively as brothers and as artists has led us up to making this movie.
Wow. And it talks about Pinoy culture and an intimate side of the Filipino family, right? So why is it so important to tell this story to the world at this day and age?
Well, worldwide, we're in a very pioneering time for Asian media. As far as Asian media and pop culture, we're at the height we're at the highest profile we've ever been as Asians in Hollywood. Ever since the history of 100 years in Hollywood, we're at the height of our profile here. And with things like Crazy Rich Asians and Parasite winning the Oscar, Shang-Chi coming out and being the first superhero Marvel, Marvel superhero, everyone's looking towards Asian stories, and not just Asian Americans, Asian stories worldwide. Squid Games being the #1 show on Netflix right now.
Wow, yes.
And there's so much great and interesting and fabulous storytelling going on. We're just part of that right now, helping to add our stories, the Filipino stories, stateside Filipinos from the homeland. It's time for us to also add to the movement of what is going on right now. So I'm very excited to be a part of the movement and help be a voice in the movement, and of course representing Filipino stories in this really pioneering time of Asian media in the world.
And you've been there really keeping the ball rolling, right? All the time with Empty. I remember Empty by Design was before Crazy Rich Asians, even, right?
Yes. And we're all friends. John M. Chu's a good friend of mine. A lot of the cast, we're all friends, and we've had a lot of other smaller films and a lot of big conversations here that led up to things like Crazy Rich Asians. And so, to a degree, I don't think I think it's something we hoped would happen, this swell of just art from Asian minds and Asian stories being out there in the world. I don't know if we really, we hope for it to happen, and then to see it actually happen is a whole nother thing.
Thank you so much, Dante. And right now I have a question for Miss Belay. Miss Belay, the question is, are we expecting to see more films on Cignal Entertainment from our kababayans who are based abroad? And now that, yes, we're seeing a big demand for Asian stories at the forefront in the global entertainment scene.
I'd like to say yes, because we're very much open for pitches from our kababayan from abroad. I guess what the pandemic has also done is that, it's now really borderless. They don't even have to fly in here to be able to pitch for a film or a content. And with the rise of OTT platforms, we are looking for a lot of content that we can produce and put in our platforms.
Thank you so much, Miss Belay. Yung tanong ko naman na next for Sir Jeff, pero parang pang Miss Universe yung question, Sir Jeff, ito. How do you think this movie uplifts the image of the Filipinos in the US in light of the Asian discriminatory cases?
Okay, so I'll give you a Miss Universe answer as well.
I love that. Okay.
Okay, well, actually, the movie, I would say, depicts the very true nature of Filipinos. You know, maybe even some of the best traits and characters of Filipinos anywhere in the world. You know, we're fun-loving, we're resilient, we're courageous, and more importantly, I think it's love for family. So that is something that's very very important for all of us. And I guess even just for a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours, that would somehow ease the struggles that every Filipino is actually doing or experiencing all over the world. And just realize and reflect that they are doing okay, as a matter of fact. And not just as Filipinos, but as also part of an Asian community.
Sir Jeff, ang dami nyo nang na-launch abroad, mga channel, programa, at kung ano-ano pa. Pero saan nyo nakikita yung future production involving Filipino stories abroad? Where is this heading?
You know, there's, as you said, ang dami ng kwento. In my past lives, you know, ang dami ko ng experience. I've been through a lot of relationship building with Filipino communities abroad. So we've done movies about, you know, happy and failed marriages, romantic relationships. We've done movies on the plight of an OFW. We've done movies on the hardships and even lahat ng paghihirap ng isang Pilipino abroad. Pero madami pa. There's so many other stories we can tell. It's never ending. There's so many things that we do and write. We write our own story every day. And anywhere in the world, there's so many stories and beautiful na kakaiba or innate na sa pagka-Pinoy natin. So I guess we will continue, as Bella said, we will continue to look out for great stories and showcase what a beautiful species we are as Filipinos. And hopefully we can break barriers similar to how Korea did it, no? And be able to showcase just that through cinema.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Jeff. And now it's time for our Q&A dahil talagang importante at special ito, no, na kailangan natin marinig si Dante and of course this story. Ang unang magtatanong nga sa atin is John Michael Bueno from Cumagcao, who will ask his question. Go ahead, JM.
All right. Good afternoon. Dante, I just have like a couple of questions, but first off, how was it working with the Filipino cast? Well, of course, you're all Filipinos, but the ones that are actually from the Philippines, like, of course, Solen, Yusuf. How was the experience working with them?
Beautiful, man. Really, really beautiful. It's as I started producing films and I started coming back home to start pitching films and start producing films. It started out with working with Francis De La Torre and doing stuff with him back. And I did a film with Jericho Rosales years back called Subject I Love You. I really fell in love with the Philippines. I mean, part of my reason of doing Asian films is for me, you know, as Asian Americans, we know a lot about being American and sometimes not as much about our Asian side of our culture. Of course, I grew up in a Filipino home, but it's very different to be in the Philippines. And then when I got here, to just see the great artists that are here, that amazing actors, amazing filmmakers. And so I really want to pay that honor. It's always, can we work with some of the best and brightest talent in the Philippines? And I want to work with them. I want to work with them. I become fans of their work. And I just think this is the time for us to build bridges. Let's build bridges from stateside to Asia. And so getting to work with Solen on this project, she's great. I mean, she was so gracious to come and do the film with us. I was really honored that she would come to this movie. And she was so much fun to work with. She's such a great actress. She really knows who she is, what she's doing, what she does, and just her power. And she's just was great the whole rehearsal process. Everything. I mean, she's game for everything. And so I really loved working with her. And then, of course, bringing Tirso Cruz III back in, who I got to work with for the first time when we did the debut together here, the debut. So for all the fans of that film, to just bring Tirso back and understand like everything comes full circle. And of course, Tirso's a legend. So whenever you get to work with someone like that, it's again nothing but a joy. And again, I'm honored. I mean, I got to have lunch with him before. It's like, hey man, would you come and essentially do this cameo in my movie? But it's an important scene in the film, and it's an important moment. And you're so important to me, and I would love for you to kind of, validate some of my past by doing this film. I think a lot of fans of my career will get a kick that I was able to bring you back in and be a part of this film. Like I said, it brings a lot of things full circle, but it's really was important for me to shoot part of the film in the Philippines because of my experience of going back home. I just wanted to pay homage to that.
Was that difficult to actually shoot here?
It was ambitious. I'll tell you that. It was definitely ambitious. For a lot of my friends and my producing friends stateside, they're very in awe that I was able to pull off this film in the time that I was able to pull it off, and especially shooting it in 2 countries. Again, every movie's a minor miracle. It's a minor miracle to pull off any film, and this movie, it's the same thing. But it was something that needed to get done. It was very important for me to shoot there, and I'm glad we pulled it off.
How hard was it to actually direct people that you know?
Surprisingly, not that hard. I don't know. It's my first time directing, and I didn't know how I would take at it. But there's a thing that happens at certain times in your life, and I was told this by someone that was kind of just, I guess, just watching things I was doing. And they said, you get to a certain age and you start to understand what you actually know. And so that kind of happened on this set too, where little by little, as you're going, everything that the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours I spent on sets and stages and working with all the different departments throughout my life from 10 years old till now. And then talking with all the different departments and talking about the set and the camera and the sound and the acting, it all, you start to it all starts to make sense, and you're able to just communicate the best you can to each department to kind of get what you want to get on screen. And I've been very fortunate because throughout the years I've had I've had a lot of favors to pull in for people to come in and work with me and give me this shot to do my first one. So I definitely feel very fortunate in that way.
All right. That's all for me. Congratulations again, Dante.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, JM. Next up, we have Glenn Sibonga from Concept News Central. Go right ahead with your questions.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, Dante.
Hello, Glenn. How are you doing?
I'm fine. My question is, you said many good things about Solen, but how did you go about with your love scene and kissing scene?
Well, it's Solen. I mean, what do you have to do? I mean, she's beautiful, charming, and for between action and cut, all you have to do is kind of like look at her and go there. We did a lot of rehearsal. We talked. We got to know each other a bit, and she's, like I said, she's a concert professional, but she's also just incredibly beautiful and incredibly charming. And to fall in love between action and cut for an actor is not that hard to do when it comes to Solen.
And it's not hard to do with the kissing scene also and the love scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the perks of the job, I guess, as the actor. And so, but she was incredibly professional, and it went, everything went down very smoothly. But she's great.
Was she handpicked for the role? Did you personally pick her for the role?
That's a good question. A few years back, she was definitely heavily. She was like the number one pick for sure. I as I'm getting to know all the actresses in the Philippines, but we were discussing a few different options, and I can't even remember exactly all the few actors right now. But Solen was definitely at the top of the list.
and you had a great experience and fun with her.
No, she's great, man. She's very obviously you guys know her and her career. She's one of the coolest people out there. A great artist, very talented, and so many different. I was so impressed by just who she was, and even the fact that she does amazing visual art. And I was like, you know, you're great. So and she was amazing.
For my last question, of course, your most popular role was Rufio in Steven Spielberg film that most Filipinos would remember. Did working with Steven Spielberg and of course with Robin Williams, did they give you any advice that you are applying to right now with your job as a director and also as an actor?
Well, yeah, you know, even when I was a young kid, a teenager in those days, I'd spend my days off from work. I would just show up on the set. I would show up on the set and I would sit next to Steven Spielberg as he was directing, and he would explain things to me about directing, explain things to me about camera movement and what he was doing. And I didn't know I would direct someday, but he was, you know, he just kind of gave that to me as I was this guy hanging, and I was on the set hanging out, watching the actors because I was, you know, a big fan of Robin Williams, like all of us are, and Since Mork and Mindy and The World According to Garp and Dead Poet Society. These are films that I really impacted me as a young artist. And I would watch him. I would come to watch him perform on my days off. And then, of course, Dustin Hoffman, who played Captain Hook, as one of the, you know, the literal gods in our industry as actors, along with De Niro, Pacino, and Nicholson as being the actors in the late 60s and early 70s that changed all of acting. And so to just show up on the set during those days, I mean, yeah, they gave me a lot. It was like having the wherewithal as a young artist to sit in the room with the masters and see the masters work. It would be equivalent to being able to watch Picasso paint a stroke or Mozart to conduct a symphony. That's what it was, watching and hanging out with these guys. If you just sat there and watched. And so I think they gave me a lot. You know, they really gave me the idea to kind of strive and reach for some greatness, and also study on the things that you're being inspired by, the films, the other artists, the other things, and try to infuse that into the project. And that's really what we did.
Thank you, Dante, and congratulations on the
Thank you so much. Salamat.
movie.
Thank you, Glenn. Ito naman